Hello, everyone. Here are the top 7 normal people who changed history forever. Number 7. Harry S. Truman. Harry S. Truman might have been born into an ordinary family in Missouri, but he grew up to be anything but ordinary. After serving in World War I, he returned home and settled into the life of a farmer. But politics called to him, and soon he was serving in the Jackson County Courthouse in Kansas City as a judge. His career in politics took off, and he was elected as a U.S. Senator in 1934. 8 years later, he became vice president under Franklin D. Roosevelt. And then came the most consequential moment of his life. On April 12, 1945, President Roosevelt died, and at that moment, Truman, who had been napping, became the 33rd President of the United States. He inherited a world on the brink. The war in Europe was nearing its end, but the conflict in the Pacific was still raging. Plus, the use of atomic weapons was still a new concept for the military. It was a lot to handle. But Truman proved equal to the task. He made the call to drop the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, ending the war and ushering in the atomic age. He also established the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan, which helped contain the spread of communism and rebuild Western Europe after the war. Though not a president with a long tenure, Truman's impact on the world was undeniable. His decisions shaped the latter half of the 20th century and continue to influence global politics today. Imagine going from an ordinary farm boy to being responsible for ending a world war and reshaping the global order. That's the kind of crazy history can throw your way. Number 6. Margaret Sanger. If you think about famous names in the women's rights movement, you might immediately picture iconic figures like Susan B. Anthony or Gloria Steinem. But there's one name that stands out even in that impressive lineup, Margaret Sanger. Born into a working-class family in New York in 1879, Sanger didn't come from privilege. Her father was a blue-collar Irish immigrant, and her mother was a middle-class German immigrant. Yet it was precisely this background that ignited a passion in young Margaret for improving the lives of working women. She started out as a nurse, witnessing firsthand the harsh realities faced by women in factories and tenement buildings. This experience led her to co-found the Women's Alliance for the Equal Rights in 1919. But her most enduring contribution came a bit later when she opened the first birth control clinic in the United States in 1916. At that time, birth control devices were illegal, and obtaining contraception meant risking dangerous homemade methods or relying on ineffective withdrawal methods. Sanger changed all that. Despite facing legal challenges and societal backlash, she stood firm. In 1930, she founded the Birth Control Federation of America, now known as Planned Parenthood. This organization has gone on to become one of the largest providers of reproductive health services in the United States. Sanger's legacy is one of courage, determination, and unwavering commitment to women's rights. Number 5. George Washington Carver. George Washington Carver's story is one of triumph over adversity and innovation in the face of challenge. Born into slavery in Missouri in 1864, Carver's early life was far from easy. But his love for plants and his relentless pursuit of knowledge led him to become one of the most important agricultural scientists of his time. After gaining freedom, Carver went on to study at Iowa State College, where he earned a master's degree in agriculture. But his real impact began when he joined the Tuskegee Institute as the head of its agriculture department in 1896. There, he introduced groundbreaking practices and research. His experiments with soil conservation and crop rotation were ahead of their time and helped transform the agricultural landscape of the American South. But perhaps Carver's greatest contribution came when he turned his attention to an unexpected source, the lowly peanut. At the time, peanuts were considered a rather insignificant crop. But Carver saw their potential. He developed more than 100 products from peanuts, including milk, cheese, and even gasoline. These innovations not only showcase the versatility of the peanut, but also provided economic opportunities for farmers in the region. Carver's impact went beyond the laboratory. He was a champion of civil rights and an advocate for racial equality. Despite facing discrimination and racism throughout his life, he never wavered in his commitment to justice. In the face of adversity, Carver's story is a beacon of hope and a testament to the power of perseverance. Number 4. John Paul Jones. John Paul Jones was a man who wasn't born into royalty, but who rose to become a legendary figure in one of history's most pivotal moments. Born in the humble surroundings of Arbiglen, Scotland in 1747, Jones's path to greatness was paved with ambition and daring. His journey began with humble beginnings as a merchant sailor, but soon his skills and strategic brilliance caught the attention of those who mattered. And when the American Revolutionary War broke out, he found himself at the heart of the action. As a naval commander in the Continental Navy, Jones took to the seas with a ferocity and cunning that made him a formidable force. His most famous exploit came during the battle between the Bonhomme Richard and the Serapis in 1779. With his ship battered and his crew depleted, Jones famously challenged his British counterpart, "I have not yet begun to fight," a quote that echoes through history as a testament to human resilience and the indomitable spirit of those who dare to challenge the odds. Jones's legacy extends far beyond the annals of maritime history. He was a true Renaissance man, a skilled sailor, a brilliant strategist, and a charismatic leader who embodied the revolutionary ideals of liberty and independence. No. 3. Cesareo Borgia. Cesareo Borgia's life reads like a thrilling novel filled with intrigue, ambition, and audacious maneuvers that shook the foundations of European power structures. Born in 1475 in the Spanish town of Sativa, Borgia's early life was marked by the promise of greatness. However, it was his rise to the papacy in 1503 as Pope Alexander VI that truly set the stage for his remarkable story. Under his papacy, Rome experienced a golden age of sorts, marked by ambitious building projects and a renewed focus on arts and culture. But Borgia's most notable legacy came from his cunning and often ruthless foreign policy. Despite his small stature, he wielded immense influence, expertly playing European powers against each other to advance his own interests and those of the Roman Church. His alliances, rivalries, and power plays became the stuff of legend, shaping the political landscape of Renaissance Europe. However, Borgia's story was not without its controversies. Accusations of nepotism, corruption, and even heresy followed him closely. His relentless pursuit of power and his willingness to bend the rules, if not break them, made him both feared and respected. Despite the controversies, Cesareo Borgia remains a fascinating figure in history, a testament to the boundless ambition and audacious spirit of Renaissance Italy. Number 2. Queen Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I was more than just a queen. She was a force of nature. Born in 1533, her journey to the throne was a turbulent one, marked by the religious upheaval of the time and the machinations of her family's rivals. However, her rise to power in 1558 was a watershed moment in English history. She inherited a kingdom on the brink of change, and she steered England through a period of immense transformation, establishing it as a major player on the world stage. Her reign saw the defeat of the Spanish Armada, a golden age in literature and arts, and the establishment of the Church of England. But Elizabeth's greatest strength lay in her ability to connect with her people. Despite her royal duties, she was known for walking among her subjects, listening to their concerns, and even dancing with them. Her warmth and accessibility made her immensely popular. Nevertheless, Elizabeth's story was not without its complexities. Her decision to remain unmarried led to political and social tensions, and her later years were marred by the persecution of those who didn't conform to her religious policies. But her impact on English history is undeniable. She left behind a legacy of strength, resilience, and an enduring love for her people. Number 1. Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan wasn't just a conqueror, he was a visionary who forged a path to unite disparate tribes, and built an empire that stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe. Born in 1162 in Mongolia, his early life was far from privileged. In fact, his childhood was marked by hardship and the struggle for survival in the harsh Mongolian steppe. But it was these early experiences that forged his indomitable spirit and leadership skills. By the time he was in his 20s, he had united the nomadic tribes of Mongolia under his banner, establishing the Empire of the Mongols. From there, he turned his attention to the vast territories of the Middle East and Eastern Europe. His military tactics were a blend of strategy, ruthlessness, and psychological warfare, making his armies a formidable force. The Mongol Empire that Genghis built was one of the largest in history. But his impact went beyond conquest. He was a champion of religious tolerance, a patron of learning, and even a surprisingly savvy diplomat. But his story isn't just one of triumph. It's also marked by brutality and destruction. The Mongols' enemies often faced annihilation, and entire cities were wiped out during their campaigns. Yet, Genghis Khan remains a towering figure in world history, a testament to the human capacity for both great achievements and terrible destruction. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up and share it with your friends.